Okay, everybody, skills faculty, I have a little helpful video that should be short and sweet to show you how best to use these new Adobe skill sheets that we've designed to help kind of streamline the paperwork process for skills labs as far as all of those 30, 40, 90, 100 pages of check sheets you end up having to scan every time. So this is what we're going to be using. And if you don't have Adobe on your computer, Adobe Acrobat, then you can actually download Adobe Acrobat Reader. XI is the current version, and you need to execute this on your computer. I emailed you if you were already in our system the EMT check sheets here recently, but they're also located in the Skills Lab paperwork. The very first file should be in the paperwork part where the skills check sheets are, the conglomerative check sheets for EMT, and shortly will also be there for P1 and in the P2 folder as well. The way to use this and make this work, when you're ready to start skills testing, what you need to do is open up wherever you have this on File Explorer. And in my case, I have this under my EMT course. I have it in Skill Sheets 2017. You're going to be using the copy that is distributed. This is one that allows you to work with it and get it back to me easily. So you're going to open it in whichever program you have. I have Adobe Acrobat Pro DC, which is another option. Now, let's say you have 2 students that you're testing today. I'm going to open this one and I'm going to save this somewhere on my computer, save as, with a file name that I can find. So make yourself a file folder on your computer and then put an EMT folder, a paramedic folder, an AMT folder, whatever, or P1, P2, something like that, someplace where you can save these. Just for the purposes so I can clean it back off here in a few minutes, I'm going to use my download folder just so I remember where it is. Now, let's do that again. I had to clean that off. File, save as, find your folder or choose a different folder and locate where you're going to save it. And what you need to do is rename this. Leave the EMT skills check sheets there, just in the interest of taking out the long file name, which sometimes messes up when you're uploading. Take out the word distributed if you can, and then type in the student's name. Click Save. Okay? Now, that has saved and changed this file to that person. Now you need to go back in to where you have the master version of this and open another one. Okay? See, I've got another one now. And we're going to make this one Jane Doe's. And you can do this for however many students you have in the session, but this is probably the easiest way to do it. Pre-open all of them, and then you can flip back and forth between them. Taking out the word distributed, putting Jane Doe. And because I'm on Jane Doe's sheet, I'm going to go ahead and name her. And let's say I'm doing these today. Now these are preset where the student name and the date of test is going to automatically populate all the way through the program. You don't have to enter that ever again. Okay? Let me flip over here to Joe Blows and get his all set up here. And we're testing him today. Okay, and it's automatically populated. Now let's say for Joe Blow, I'm doing CPR. Infant CPR first, and he does everything well. A second, I'm having trouble with another file down here. Okay, trying to get my arrow. And he does his compressions and his breaths well, and his 2 cycles of CPR. Forms high quality compressions. 2 breaths with a bag valve mask. And I'm at the end and I'm going to grade it. I'm going to click pass and I'm going to sign this. And this one wants the instructor's name, so I'm going to put it in there. But most of these you don't have to. Once you sign it, it takes care of both of it. And actually the electronic signature does take care of it, so you don't really have to do that. The first time you click on this little box with this little red, it'll walk you through a setup process for setting up your electronic signature. Mine is already set up. So when I click the box every time, my electronic signature, and here's how I set mine up, just so that you can see, I put my bachelor's, NRMP, EP, LP, all this, who I work for, the company or site or whatever, and put all that there, and I set it up with a password, okay? Now, once it's set up, all you do is click continue and enter your password, and that's what it's going to look like in the box, and it's going to date and timestamp. Click sign. Then it's going to ask me to save this sheet. This is Joe Blow's save. Don't get them confused. Make sure you're saving to the correct file or you're going to end up losing paperwork. Okay? This one's done. Now I can either scroll down and do another check sheet for Joe Blow. Let's just go down here somewhere else. Let's go to something else. Let's go to oxygen. All right. Don't sign it until after you're done. Now this one's got to start and stop time. Let's say he started at 17:25, he ended at 17:27. He did perfectly. He had no critical criteria. He did well. So I'm going to sign it. Continue. Enter my password. This one is Joe Blow's. Make sure I'm saving to Joe Blow. Don't want to screw up and lose all the work I've already done and have to start over. Because if you change the name on the file, then I'm going to be getting a file for Joe Blow that says on the file name is Jane Doe, and I may get 2 Jane Doe files. So see, that one's done. Now let's say over here, I've done these and I'm working on Jane Doe's, and we're doing this other airway skill. Okay. She did mouth to mask. I'm going to say she started that one at 17:35. She finished it at 17:38. And let's say she, let's see. Forgot to adjust the flow rate to 15 liters per minute for the bag valve mask. So I'm going to change that. That changes my score here to 7. And that also meant here that she did not adjust the flow rate to 15 liters per minute at some point. That was a critical, which means she failed this skill. Fail. Sign. Continue. Password. This is Jane Doe's. Save. Now, because Jane Doe has one in here that she's going to have to retest, that means that I'm going to have to go either to my book or online into the Google Skills Lab paperwork folder for EMT and pull the mouth to mask supplemental oxygen sheet and print a copy. And I may want to attach that, and I can attach it separately. If I have Adobe, I can bind it in with here if I want to before you send it to me, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. You're going to finish all of these out normally for your sheet. When you're done, you've already saved these in case you get lost. Now let's try this. Let's go submit form. At least one required field. Oh, it has to be completed all the way. The mandatory fields are student name, date, start and end times, and I think pass fails, I'm not sure. If not, it should be. And if anything's not there that's a mandatory, it will not allow you to submit. Now, I'm not going to have time to fill all this in, but supposedly when you submit this, it should come to my email and drop in. So hopefully that will happen, and I hope that helps you with this. And if not, then I'll let you know what to do in the future. Thanks.